Well, good morning, our beloveds. Today is a double dipper. One is a channeled message at our direction or inspiration, and another is at the request of another. We have found someone who really enjoys having these conversations with us, especially when it is quite esoteric. So we shall now talk about your exit paths, exit door, exit trapdoors. Some of you fall through a trapdoor, right? It's all about when you leave this earthly realm, how you leave. When, from the perspective of, is it at the beginning, the middle, or the end? Is it anticipated or planned, or is it more spontaneous? So, when you incarnate, it is similar to when you plan to write a book. You have a general framework or structure within which you wish to operate. However, as many of you have learned, when you incarnate, you may have a plan to marry or to do something very specific. Well, sometimes it requires the submission or admission or acknowledgement of or by another. And if they don't concede this union of sorts, well, it doesn't happen, right? So there are plenty of opportunities for free will to intervene or interfere with your best laid plans. However, your exit strategies are a little bit more concrete, meaning that if it doesn't require the consideration of another person, but simply a sequence of events, then it is much easier to orchestrate. However, if you, specifically you, the individual, is not aligned with that particular exit point at that particular time, meaning that your vibration is not 100% certain to a certain extent, then it doesn't materialize or manifest. But now what about those near-death experiences, right? In different forms. It can be where you feel your life fading away in a moment, like our another has had, and our another's querier has had. Why don't you die in that moment? Or what about those who do exit and meet with the divine of some sort? When they are told it is not your time, why do they get to transition at least for a bit to see behind the veil of Oz, only to be returned unceremoniously into their skin suit? Read about this if you do not understand the difficulty and the pain, the discomfort of being shoved back into your skin suit when your soul is ever expansive and expanding. Your shoes always feel too tight once you return to your body because it is no longer a good fit, because you know that this body that encapsulates or houses you is not you. You no longer really identify with it because your true essence has been explained and expanded upon to make you really know what you are, which is a soul having a human or physical experience. So here is the best overall, overarching explanation that we can give you. And we will give you some concrete examples which are not necessarily true, but because you are linear thinkers or knowers, it helps you to put some skin around it. When you incarnate, let's assume that you set 3 to 5 exit strategies, paths, doors, which are very time sensitive. So you could, for example, say one will be around the age of 3 because it will give you an opportunity to grow in different ways. But when that door arrives, you say, well, I've got 4 other exit strategies planned and I think I want to stick around. So there is, at some level, a soul decision, not the human decision, but a soul decision, whether or not to incarnate again sooner or later, or to stick around this time for a bit longer. It is all about soul exploration. Let's assume at the age of 3 that you feel, based on the circumstance within which you find yourself, that there really is no more opportunity for your soul to explore that unique experience. Because there is no more opportunity to grow within the probabilistic outcomes, it is time to go. However, if the soul looks and says, I still think there's room for growth, for opportunity to expand and explore, and to figure out new aspects or perspectives of myself, well, then you stick around. Unless, of course, your exit strategy is specifically designed to not only teach you, but those around you. Now, everyone will always learn, so there's always that. But when you contracted to come in, what if you contracted to die at the age of 2, not for your growth and exploration, but because of those with whom you were housed were to learn something from that journey? So whether or not you can expand is not relevant here. It is the expansion and exploration of these other individuals. So most likely you will choose that exit path because it offers somebody else their growth within their journey. And you just came to be an actor for a short time or maybe a little bit longer. When you exit is so convoluted, and just to say it is this and always this, it's not. If there's one thing that you have learned, it is that there is nothing linear or logical about your life. What works for you may not work for others and vice versa. But when you have a moment where you could have died, where you really could have died and narrowly escaped by the skin under your teeth, under your nails, on your knees, right? When you just barely survived, meaning that it was a split-second differential, well, why did you not go? What we would ask you, rather than asking us, is go back now in your mind's eye and ask your soul to show you that experience and why your soul chose not to leave. And find the comfort in what comes thereafter. Feel it in your body, not knowing it in your head or even in your heart. Because your heart sometimes can be confused as well by emotion. Feel it in your body. If you were drowning and you didn't, and your cells were at that point of giving up and surrendering, and then, why not then, right? Go within. Do the somatic experiencing. Even though the cells that were in your body back then have died, its babies or the babies of the babies or 1,000 generations are the replacement of that particular body part, right? The cells die off and regenerate. But when you know something, you pass it down to the next generation and to the next generation, because there is intergenerational trauma, as you call it. But it is just intergenerational knowledge that is passed from one to the next as a survival mechanism. Your bodies have learned what to eat and what not to. when it will kill you and why it won't, that kind of stuff. So your body knows what it knows. Ask it. Say, please show me. Take me back to that time where I almost perished. Remind me what it felt like in my body. Remind me what my soul's thoughts were in that moment. And why didn't I perish? What was the purpose for me to stick around a little longer? Was it to learn? Was it to learn how to live? Was it to learn how to appreciate to breathe? Was it learn to appreciate the delicate balance of how we can easily die? Was it to teach me respect for what can all go wrong? Was it just an accident? Because sometimes things that are unplanned also happen. And if it is not your time, then it is not your time. What was it in that moment that kept my soul around for another moment, another time, another experience? And then let your cells tell you the story of your life and why you came. It is not only imprinted in your mind, it is not only imprinted in your heart, it is not only imprinted in your gut, but every cell is a living and breathing machine, literally breathing, because if a cell gets no oxygen, it dies, and it trusts and believes in the lungs and the arteries and the veins and the arterioles. All of that works in conjunction to keep you alive. And they each communicate so delicately with and through your nervous system to remind everything that we are all one. Please don't forget about me over here in the corner. And when they don't, you will know that you are loved. So find the answer within you. We have given you many examples of what it could be, though it is not exhaustive, because there is no limit to possibilities. It is what your soul came to experience and why, as well as others, and how it all comes together. But the fact is that you all have a collective desire and plan, as well as an individual desire and plan. And when the collective changes, sometimes you, the individual, you change your plan as well to play your part for the growth of everyone. When some body parts grow back and others don't, why is that? Is there purpose and design in that or not? Finding Nemo, finding Waldo, finding yourself, it's all exactly the same journey. You came to figure out who you are and why you came in the most simplistic way, which is to follow your heart's desire and your inner knowing. What is that? And you will find the solution as to why you did not exit when it could have happened. Matters more than you realize to go within right now, because this is the time of somatic experiencing, because that is what it is to be alive. And so it is. Namaste.